It was a strange, vomiting kind of charity. He was helpless and well-intentioned, working 2 jobs now, confused about why his family seemed to hate him. But I didn't hate him. I think I just missed him. Dad turned off all the lights in the living room except for the fluorescent bulbs hanging inside the greenhouse. He meant for it to be pretty, but it wasn't. It was like someone had put a payphone in our living room. He looked disappointed for a second, as if he suddenly saw that the gift was ridiculous, and then he just switched off all the lights, and we went to bed. Lovely came into my room and demanded to know what I'd helped Dad build. I wouldn't tell. "Go on and look for yourself," I said, but I knew she wouldn't. Dad had scared her earlier. Scared me too. "It's something stupid for me, isn't it? A dollhouse or something? You know what I really want?" she said. "A backpack. A big, sturdy backpack." I didn't know why anyone would want that. She had been hinting all fall that she wanted a car, but even she knew that wasn't going to happen. At 17, her red hair and freckles were no longer cute, but she hadn't grown into her name yet either. It was part of why she was so angry, I think. "Weird things are going on, little brother. I found Mom under her bed when I came home from school yesterday. She said she fell asleep. What do you think of that?" I shrugged. I had seen Mom throw her car keys in the trash 2 days earlier. I took them out when she left the room and set them on the counter. I didn't mention that, though. I just said, "Don't sleep too late tomorrow. I want presents." The next morning, Christmas, the sheet was still up in the living room, and we waited outside until Dad came down. Rather than pulling the sheet aside, he plucked at each nail until the curtain finally fell, and there, framed by the doorway and lit up by the sun through the windows, was the indoor greenhouse. Mom approached it slowly, peering into it as if it might contain some sort of animal. It did look like a drained aquarium, 8 feet high and 4 feet deep. "What the heck's that?" Lovely said. "What's it do? Who's it for?" "It's for Mom. It's a greenhouse," Dad said. "For inside." Mom opened the see-through door and looked in, and then looked back at Dad. He smiled nervously, teeth gritted, and made a voila gesture with his hands. She shut the door, and Dad handed her a small package. There were seeds inside, and Mom shuffled through the envelopes non-stop like they were playing cards. I guess at that point Mom was on medication, too. She did seem fainter and fainter, almost blurry to look at, charged with a purpose none of us could understand and focused on something just above our heads and out of the frame. Lovely opened her package from Dad. It was a telescope. She didn't hide her displeasure. Dad gave me an archery set. Since we lived in a row home in northeast Philadelphia, there was no sensible place to shoot an arrow. Also, there were no stars above the lights of the city, telescope or not. A brown smog hung above the neighborhood that brightened occasionally under a full moon. Our stars were only as high as the street lamps, the floodlights at car dealerships, the blinkers at the tops of factory smokestacks. And when Lovely and I looked around, we realized there were no other presents to open. Christmas was over. Lovely ran out and slammed the door to her room, leaving the telescope box behind, unopened. Dad walked Mom over to the couch and whispered to her about what seeds would be best to plant first. I went to my room, got changed, and took the bow and arrows outside to see what I could do. All the other kids in the neighborhood were riding their new bikes and playing with their new remote-control cars in the street. I had never shot an arrow in my life, had never even thought of the possibility, and I was excited. Targets hung everywhere, street signs, parked cars, the occasional city tree. A thin groove at the bottom of each arrow seemed to fit the string, so I settled one in and pulled it back, but the tension became too much, and I let go with both hands. The contraption fell to the ground with a clang, and all the neighborhood kids looked up. I had something, for sure. After a few more tries, I managed to launch an arrow across the street without much speed. It hit the Kramer's garage door with a thud. Everyone cheered. My friend Clip dropped his new hockey stick and followed me around.